Hello, Dr. Brant Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do when someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care. I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. Hello, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of Ask the Chiropractor. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the master control system, the nervous system. You see, there's a lot of people who come to the chiropractor because they're having back pain, neck pain, headaches, or maybe something else somebody told them to go see the chiropractor for, some type of aching complaint. And we do pretty well with those cases. If you look at the research, it shows that the WHO actually recommends spinal manipulative therapy, which is what we do as chiropractors, as the number one choice for acute lower back or neck pain. You see, when we take care of those, we don't prescribe opiates. We don't give you medicine. We don't give you muscle relaxers trying to relax muscles that are trying to protect inflamed and swollen joints. No, we dive into the cause of why you're having these aches and pains, and we use x-rays and a chiropractic examination to get to the bottom of it. So if you came to my clinic here in Rockford, Illinois with lower back pain or neck pain or maybe a headache, the first thing you would do is fill out a complete medical history like you would any other healthcare provider. We would do a chiropractic exam on you because we're chiropractors. And then we would do a chiropractic set of x-rays to go along with it. We do the x-rays for two reasons. One, so we do a better job taking care of you, so we can actually identify the problem and see what's going on. And two, for safety, right? We want to make sure that you're safe to adjust with different techniques. There's all different techniques and styles of way to adjust, so we want to use the technique that you need the most based on what we find. So you come in with a complaint and the chiropractor starts talking about maybe you can sleep better, maybe you can breathe better, maybe you'll find that your GI system behaves better. In the old days, my grandfather, he was a chiropractor here. He was in Byron, Illinois and Rockford, Illinois for part of his career. But he used to have a giant safety pin. And we'd always talk about the top of the safety pin's the brain. The nerve comes down to the spine, to the bottom part of the safety pin, and then to the back to the body part. But see, if that safety pin's open, it doesn't work. It's not a closed loop anymore. And when one or two of your bones in your spine are misaligned, we call that a subluxation. The subluxation creates stress. That stress hits that nerve, and wherever that nerve goes, it creates pain. Maybe the most common symptom you would think of when it comes to chiropractic is lower back pain, sciatica, neck pain, maybe a headache, maybe pain in my shoulder, maybe pain going down my arm. This is an example of ways a subluxation can demonstrate itself. So us in medicine agree that when there's a subluxation, that you can have pain wherever that nerve goes. You can have pain in that spot of your spine. We could test your reflexes, and your reflexes might not match side to side because of the subluxation. They agree with us on that. They agree that we could do a dermatome test. A dermatome is your skin. And what we could do is take something soft, and they run like a spike pinwheel up and down your arm and see if you feel it. And then maybe like a piece of cotton and see if you feel that. They agree with us if you have a subluxation, it could affect those areas too. But where medicine stops with us and chiropractic keeps going is that we know that nerve also goes to a body part, say like a liver, a spleen, a kidney, a heart. And we know the brain controls those functions. There's a system called your autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system's job is to regulate all your bodily functions. Like right now, as you're listening to this, you probably have no idea what your spleen's doing, but you know it's working. You have no idea what enzymes are coming in and out of your liver. You have no idea what your hormones are doing. What's your pituitary gland doing right now? What about your thyroid? We don't know what it's doing. It just does it. And when you go outside and you run or you exert yourself, changes happen, right? If I go for a run right now, my heart rate's going to change. My breathing rate's going to change. My cardiovascular respiratory system undergoes massive changes. And that all happens autonomically through my autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system has two modes. It has everything's good. Everything is at peace. We call that parasympathetic. And it also has a thing that you've heard called fight and flight. But in the research, we called it the sympathetic tone. Sympathetic tone is fight and flight. And you got to remember, genetically speaking, we're hunters and gatherers. We're designed to be walking the earth, picking fruits and berries, eating vegetables, and walking. And that's what our gene code's designed for. So if that's what our gene code's designed for, what would our only stress be? The only stress we would have is maybe a wolf or a bear, right? Because it's going to come to eat us. And so what happens is our autonomic nervous system then kicks into fight and flight or sympathetic mode. We're in danger. It's got to protect us. And so your body undergoes certain changes to survive a bear or wolf attack. Now these are great if you were being attacked by a bear or wolf, but they're not good long term. I'll give you an example. Your cholesterol goes way up when you're under stress. Right? It goes way up when you're under stress. Why? If the bear scratches you, you don't want to bleed to death. You want your blood vessels to clot and keep you alive. Not only that, but the LDL cholesterol also acts as getting information in and out of your brain. The thing that happens when you're under stress is your reproductive drive turns off. Nobody tries to make a baby while they're being chased by a bear. Education, learning, focus, that's gone. You're not thinking about calculus while you're being chased by a wolf. You're thinking about, oh my goodness, I need to get away from this wolf. And your body undergoes lots of other changes. Your blood vessels around your legs and your arms expand because you want all your energy going to your legs and your arms. And the blood vessels around your core stop because it doesn't matter if you don't get away from the bear or wolf. Because bear and wolf's attacks are over in 5 minutes, one way or the other. So this is a catabolic, meaning that you're wasted away. It's not growth and repair, it's destruction. But it doesn't matter if you don't get away. So when you see the stress, your body undergoes a catabolic change to survive the moment. And as chiropractors, we know that when the subluxation exists, they can alter the autonomic nervous system output. See, I like the idea of the safety pin cycle when it's open, it doesn't work. But actually, it does work. Because if you had lightning pain down your leg, and you have shooting pain on your leg when you walk, and somebody tries to convince you have a pinched nerve, I don't know about you, but when I pinch the garden hose, less water comes out, not more. And when I have shooting pain down my leg, I'm pretty sure those nerves are firing. No problem. Matter of fact, I wish you'd be pinched so it'd talk to me less, it hurt less. So it's not a pinched nerve. It's an inflamed, irritated, stressed out nerve. And that can get really complicated and tell you it's the catecholamines that are reduced from type 4 mechanical receptors every time there's a joint fixation. But we'll just keep it easy to say that nerve is screaming that we're under stress. And that stress goes to all those body parts. So if you have a subluxation at T5, that's the one that goes to your liver. The liver is not going to change your reproductive drive, affect you in those areas. It's not going to change your breathing respiratory rate. But it's going to change the enzymes that are being made. It's not going to worry about processing different things right now because if you can't survive the moment, nothing else matters. Just like the one right below it, T6 goes to your stomach and stomach acid production. If you're under stress, you don't really worry about digesting breakfast. You don't really worry about getting away from the bear. So heartburn and indigestion are super common when it comes to having these subluxations being under stress. Now I want to clarify real quick here, as I just said that. Chiropractic does not treat heartburn. Chiropractic doesn't treat liver. Chiropractic doesn't treat asthma. Chiropractic doesn't treat any of the things I described. Chiropractic corrects the vertebral subluxation. So that way the proper autonomic nerve response comes out. Meaning that when we do those adjustments, the tone of the body should go back to how it's designed to be, not interfered with because of the subluxation in your spine. So when you come to tell me you've got lower back pain and it's going down your leg, I'm thinking I'm going to might help you have healthier bowels. Maybe help your reproductive drive because those nerves are in that area. And I hope to make those areas healthier. Doesn't mean you have to have those problems, but we can always be healthier. We can always be better. So when we do the chiropractic adjustment down there, we like to hear that your sciatica is feeling better. We like to hear that your range of motion is better. We like to hear that you don't feel pinching and this and that. But we're also excited because we know we restore the proper autonomic tone to the lower half of your body. Now, if there is a nervous system that kicks in to fight and flight, there's obviously a nervous system that turns it off too. And that's your parasympathetics. And they come from two spots. They come from the top bone in your neck and your tailbone. In my grandpa's day, they actually call it the craniosacral system. So they would adjust the top bone and the bottom bone in order to help you relax more. We see this today, a lot of kids with ADHD and attention deficit disorder and other issues. My grandmother had this because she was unable to get pregnant. Dr. Palmer adjusted her upper cervicals and her sacrum and got her parasympathetics working better, and then she was able to conceive. That's how my family got into chiropractic, so I'm pretty sure it works. But that's the way chiropractors think when we see you. We love the fact that we can make your headaches feel better. We love the fact that we can make your neck pain feel better. We love the fact that your lower back pain, maybe your sciatica, other things go away. But in reality, we know it's a much bigger thing that we're taking care of. We're taking care of your nervous system, especially your autonomic tone, as we call it, whether you're stuck in fight and flight or whether you're not. This is why I tell a lot of my patients after their first adjustment, don't be surprised if you dream a lot tonight. If you get your autonomic tone working properly, sleeping becomes much better. You're able to relax. You can't relax when you're in fight and flight, but you can relax after you get a good chiropractic adjustment. And we regulate your sympathetic tone. So if you've ever been told you have a pinched nerve, if you've ever been told that your nervous system acting funny, if you've been going to doctors for different things that you can trace back to the stress response, maybe you went there first because you had high blood pressure. Now you've got blood sugar problems. Now you've got cholesterol problems. Sounds to me like you're stuck in fight and flight. You're stuck in a sympathetic tone. And maybe a chiropractic adjustment could unlock that for you. But you know who you have to ask? You have to ask a chiropractor. Only a chiropractor is trained to look at these things and study these things. We have the same anatomy books as your family doctor. We have the same physiology books as the surgeons you work with. But when we dive a little deeper into the chiropractic portion about how to take somebody and keep them well, keep them healthy, rather than, say, treat a sickness, that's where chiropractic excels. And don't get me wrong, if you have a sickness, if you're having a heart attack or something's wrong with you, I go to a medical doctor. I have a medical doctor. I work with them all the time. But when I want to get healthy and maintain my health, or when maybe sickness care isn't working, I highly recommend getting evaluated by a chiropractor. So if you have a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, only ask a chiropractor. They're the only ones trained to answer. Just like I would never ask a question about my ingrown toenail to my dentist. Nor would I ask a question about a tooth to an optometrist. I would ask my dentist. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, or maybe could chiropractic care something I should look at because this is happening, feel free to leave a comment or a message wherever you're watching or listening to this. And maybe next week you'll be the question of the week. Thank you for tuning in.